Now I'm going to try and attempt to explain pH, KH and GH testing and the equipment or the products we need to adjust them. Now, pH is the most popular one. Now, pH is basically the acidity or alkaline levels of the tank. So pH is a very simple test to do. Just fill it up to the line, throw in 3 drops and look at the colour. If the colour is green, then the tank is neutral. If the colour is a bit yellow, then it's going acid. If it's a bit blue, then it's going alkaline. Now, if you wish to change the pH of the water, there's basic pH up and pH down products that are available. I do not tend to use pH up or pH down products at all because they don't have any buffering capacity, which means that you get it right and then the presence of any alkali or the presence of any bases, and they change straight away. So I will regularly check my pH, but I will try to stabilize my GH and KH. Then I will find that my pH is much more stable. So let's say that we have a pH test kit, and then let's say that we have a GH and KH test kit. Now, pH is a colorimetric test, which means you test it and then you just compare the color. Now, GH and KH are titration tests. That means you fill up the vial with aquarium water to the line, then you put in 1 drop and shake it, 2 drops, then shake it, 3 drops, then shake it. So you're counting the drops until the color changes. And when you see a sharp color change, then you know how many degrees the test was. So let's just pretend that you've tested the pH, the KH and the GH of the water. Now, there are all these different products that are available that will alter the pH, KH and GH of the water. So let's say that you have Amazon fish. Amazon fish like a softer water. So I would be buying this product, which is Majestic Aquariums Amazon salts, made by Aquapix, and I would be buying this product, which is going to stabilize my KH. Now, if I put about 1 teaspoon, or say a slightly heat teaspoon per 9 litre bucket of this product, and about the same with that product, I find that pretty much works. If you follow the instructions, you won't go too wrong, but that's what I do. And that gives me generally a pH of around 6.8, and it gives me a KH of about 2, and it gives me a GH of about 4 to 6. So they're the products that I would use if I had an Amazon tank. And if my pH was too low, I'd use extra of the buffer, because that will help bring the pH down. If my GH is too low, I'll use extra of the salt. If they're too high, I'll usually do a water change. So that's the Amazon fish. Next, I will just do another example. Let's say that you just have standard tropical fish. Then I would be likely to use these products. I'd be using the Aquapix salt to raise my GH, and I would be using the Aquapix neutral KH to raise my pH. Now that's assuming that I want to run a neutral water tank. The Amazon is if I want to run a slightly acidic tank. So if I had discus or tetras or something, I might want the water slightly acidic. Now, if I put a slightly heat teaspoon per 9 litre bucket of this one and a slightly heat teaspoon of this one, I find that works for me pretty well. That usually gives me a pH of about 7.2. Put enough in it should go to 7, and that will give me a GH of generally around 4 or 6. So I'm usually pretty happy with that. If my GH is too low, I will add extra of the salt. If my KH is too low, I might add extra of the KH. So I'll check the pH, GH and KH, and I will alter my tank accordingly. Now, next, let's say that we had alkaline water fish and they wanted very high alkaline water. Then I would come over here and I would grab my African ones. Then, same thing. If I have a 9-litre bucket and I'm doing a water change and I have a fairly heaped teaspoon of my African conditioning salt and a fairly heaped teaspoon of my KH generator, that pretty much seems to work. And with that, I will generally get a GH of around sort of 10, and I will get a KH of around sort of 8. So anyway, if you play with the amount that you're adding, and if you play with the tests that you're getting, then you'll soon work out, according to the water that you're using, how much of each of the supplements you need to add in order to get the water right. The other advice I will say, in a perfect world, is if you're doing, say, a 2-bucket water change, it is slightly preferable to put all of the salts you want in the tank in one bucket and put the carbonate or the buffers in the other bucket. You will find it just dissolves better, and it is better. So anyway, if you've got any more questions, just put a question at the bottom of this video. But I had someone request what are the different products that you use for pH and GH, and they're the products that I actually use. Now, just expanding on this a little bit more, we've also got our general KH. We tend to sell that for fish like goldfish, native Australian fish, and other fish like that, because this one does not contain any phosphates, because some of these products, such as the Neutral and such as the Amazon, do contain phosphates as a bonding agent. They are not organic phosphates that cause algae. I do not experience algae. I do not experience any trouble by adding these products. But if you test it with your phosphate test kit, you will find your level is off the rails, but your tank is totally fine, because there are many sorts of phosphates, and the ones that are introduced as a bonding agent in these products are not organic phosphates that play havoc in your tank. We also have turtle ones as well. So they're all pretty much the same, just the concentrations of the elements inside them are actually different. Anyway, I hope that showed you some of the different products that we sell here at Majestic Aquariums that affect the pH and KH and GH of your water. So the long and short of it is the salts affect the GH. And when I say salts, this is a whole combination of elements. Sodium is only a small part of it. So I'm not just talking about plain rock salt. I'm talking about these supplements that have got all different goodies that are good for your fish and good for their immune system and all that sort of stuff. So your salts are good for your GH, and your buffers are good for your KH, and when you get them right, generally your pH is stable. That's why I don't like standard pH up and down, because they're not stable.